Yeah. All right, we're joined by Kevin Lee, who's middle of eating after a big press conference with the Eagle FC. Kevin, how's it going, man?
It's amazing. Life is good. Huh.
You were kind of shockingly released from the UFC. I kind of figured when that happened, there'd be a lot of promotions looking into you. Like, what kind of drew you to sign with Eagle FC?
Um, they offered a lot of things that these other promotions didn't. I got a lot of offers from different people, but this one just made the most amount of sense, especially with Khabib being the backer behind it. Not only does he have the respect of us as the fighters, but he got respect of people too, and he's got a lot of attention on him. So it makes a lot of sense.
I saw some too that you're getting paid in Bitcoin. Like, was that something you asked for and wanted?
Yeah, that's a big part of it. I mean, this is prize fighting at the end of the day, and we fight for the prize. So to be paid in Bitcoin, and them not give me any pushback on it whatsoever, uh, that was huge in the decision. It gives me a lot more financial security, and it'll help me fight better too. You know.
And with 165 too, is that something you knew was going to happen prior to signing? Because that kind of caught a lot of people by surprise today.
Yeah, that was yeah, it's a big reason for me signing. It going into a 165-pound division. Um, it gives me the chance to be the first ever MMA champion that has ever existed at that weight class. So yeah, I don't have to kill myself to make 155 anymore. I get to save my body. I get to fight more often, be healthier, and I'm the best man in the world at that weight.
How much better do you think you will feel at 165? Because 155 was always a tough weight cut, and 170 it just felt like you were a bit too small for a lot of those guys. A lot of those guys at 170 are really big.
Yeah, I was right in the middle of it. So yeah, I'm excited for it. I think it's gonna be perfect. You know, um, I've called for this for a long time, and now it's finally I got a promoter that's willing to do something like that.
With Bellator, I know Scott Coker came out and said they weren't interested in you, which kind of surprised me. Like, is that true?
Yeah, I wasn't interested in them. You know, so I think word got around that, and they got asked the question first. So
And then I think a lot of people kind of expected you'd go with PFL. Like, did they ever show interest in you?
yeah, they were one of the main suitors. And I'm leaving the door open for someone like PFL or something in the future. But for now, it's all speed ahead with this partnership with Eagle. Um, I feel like we can make something different and we can change the whole landscape of MMA.
And multi-fight deal, like, are you locked in for quite a while then, or is it just that usual like 4 or 5 fight deal?
It's a multi-fight deal. But there's room for growth, and I get a lot more freedom in it. You know, it's not like a UFC contract in the exact same way that you can't go anywhere, you can't do anything else, and they just lock you in. I feel like I'll have a lot more freedom as we continue to develop the relationship.
How weird is it to be under Khabib's promotion? Because this is a guy you were calling out for years before he even got to be like known as this dominant fighter.
Yeah, it's bittersweet. It's like the way things were always supposed to happen. You know, I wanted to fight the man to gain his respect, and I'm gonna do it this way instead. So
I
it's bittersweet.
I know they're doing a bunch of US shows. Like, are those kind of the events you want to be in, or are you even open to going out to like Russia and fighting out in those ones where he does it out there?
I think for the next year he's gonna be here in Miami, and that makes sense to me. You know, to set up a home base here, get established here. But of course, I'm open to always going to Russia or Moscow or something like that, Abu Dhabi, and fight there. I mean, who wouldn't? You know, it's these are huge markets, and I have a lot of Russian fans, so I'm kind of I would be excited to go out there if that was in our future.
I know March 11th is the debut. Is there any opponents that are kind of came across that you're looking at?
They spoke to me about Diego Sanchez, so I might go ahead and do that one. Might have to
Does
eat that
that
one, huh?
does that interest you a lot? Just because he is obviously a massive name in the sport.
The first Ultimate Fighter is known for putting on great fights. He's gonna go out there swinging, and you're gonna get a great fight out of him. So he's not afraid to fight anybody. I think it's a lot. It just makes a lot of sense all around the board. It makes sense for him. Makes sense for me. So we'll probably get that one done.
With Diego, like, how do you think you match up against him? Because he is a guy that's really tough to put away.
I'm gonna kick his head into the third row. after I get, Eagle FC has this. It's a beautiful white ring, beautiful white hexagon. So I'll bloody that up first. Kind of write my name on it, kind of make my home for myself, and then put him on his misery.
How quickly do you think you can get that 165 title? Because obviously it's vacant. Like, wouldn't be surprised you fight Diego, and then your next fight is a championship fight.
Yeah, I mean, I think anybody in the world agrees that spot is mine. I'm the hottest free agent that just got taken off the market. So I think they'll be ready for a title soon. We'll see how that all plays out. We'll see when we can create that title.
You mentioned going to Miami. Like, are you going to train down there full time then too?
Yeah, I'll be over at Sanford MMA.
Is that already a move like that's already done, or something you're about to do?
I've been there a few times, and now it'll be kind of more official. I'll still train with TriStar. I'll still train with Faraz Zahabi, and we'll work out all those relationships. I think there's already that room to grow.
What have you thought of Khabib's promotion so far? Like, from the outside looking in, that I'm not involved with, it seems like a lot of fighters are going there. A lot of fighters are pretty happy with what they're getting as well.
Yeah, and honestly, as soon as I walked in the building of the arena that we'll fight in, it's huge. It's they put in a lot of effort. They put in a lot of money towards this, and it's already well established. And this is only day one, so I can only imagine what like day 100 is going to look like. And I'm kind of happy to be a part of that and be a partner in it.
Do you think that just adds like some notoriety to your career? Like, obviously the UFC, everyone knows the UFC, but outside the UFC, like, a lot of the casual fans don't know what Bellator or PFL are. But if you say you fight for Khabib's promotion, like, everyone kind of knows Khabib, and that's obviously brings some eyes to
it. Yeah, there's that. But honestly, at this point, I bring eyes to myself. Yep. Anywhere I go in the world, people know who I am. So I do that. I bring that that level of notoriety in my own right, and I think it's about time MMA does that.
Do you think you'll ever go back to the UFC, or are you kind of putting that behind you?
Only reason I would go back is to fight Charles Oliveira if he still has the title, and they offer me a direct title fight. Other than that, maybe we can co-promote or something.
With Oliveira, what you make of his win over Poirier? Because I thought Poirier was going to beat him, but he keeps on proving a lot of people wrong.
Yeah, it was a good win. He's solid. He's got skills everywhere, and he's a really tough puzzle to figure out. And yeah, he's the best lightweight in the world, the best 155 pounder.
I was just saying, with Oliveira, like, I saw your tweet where you saying that's the best guy you've ever fought. Like, do you still think he doesn't get enough respect? Because I saw people saying, like, oh, Chandler's going to beat him, you were going to beat him, Poirier was going to beat him. Like, it seems like people don't really recognize the skill yet. Yeah,
even me, I think he's got it now. After a performance like that, you got to tip your hat to him. You got to give it to him. Before, even me, I didn't learn that until the second round of our fight, and then I was like, oh, this dude's legit. Like, oh, he's got real skills, and he keeps coming too. So, yeah, if people still sleep on him, then that's their fault. And that's just me taking up for him and kind of giving him his flowers because I think he deserves it at this point.
Just a couple more things. Early thoughts, like what's the main thing between Khabib and Dana? Like what's the big difference you've noticed?
Habib's a little shorter, and he still has some hair,
Yeah.
so you can tell he ain't making that level of money yet.
Just last thing, like have you noticed any big differences between how like Eagles kind of run the UFC, or is it still too early to really notice all that?
Honestly, it's too early. You know, it's too early to notice. Only thing I can notice is that it has a big upside and a lot of room for growth and a lot of potential.
Well, just a one quick follow up. Like, do you think Eagle can like get to that where the UFC, or not even where the UFC is, but like get to where Bellator and PFL are and be that like legit number two, like right behind the UFC?
Yeah, absolutely. They could take over Bellator for the number 2 spot. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Depending on the business model, you know, when the business model continues to do something outside of what all these other promotions are doing, it definitely has the potential to overtake anybody else.
Oh, one final one. March 11th, main event, or is that not? And like, you're not sure if you're gonna be the main event.
Main event.
5 rounds
A
or
main
just
event,
3?
but not that part. I'm not entirely sure on yet. That part I had to get back to you on that, but it's for sure a main event. Opponent and number of rounds to be determined.
All right, well, Kevin, I appreciate the time. Thanks so much for doing this.
One love.